Welcome to Jun Fan Kickboxing, Volume 1. The word Jun Fan means Bruce Lee. And encompassed in Bruce Lee's martial arts, we have Thai boxing, we have Savate, we have Panantukan, which are the boxing arts, and we have Pananjakman, which is the kicking art. A lot of the kicking arts in Pananjakman are low line. They're meant to be done more for the street and not for the sport, as is Panantukan. Most of the arts we're going to be covering here are full contact arts. These aren't geared for the tournament, but they're geared for full contact. So I want you to keep that in mind, where your whole body is a weapon, as opposed to just touching to make the point. So what I'd like you to do is warm up, get your suit on, and we'll get started. Now we're going to get started, and before I can even begin to go through any punches or kicks with you, we have to learn how to move. We have to learn how to stand, okay? Our basic stance is predicated on the fact that you have footwork. If you can't move, you can't hit. You cannot be a Jeet Kune Do fighter. This is a thing that Bruce was trying to implement to his fellow martial artists, and that is the stance is not what blocks the strikes. The idea is not to get all of your vital targets out of the way, so therefore he can't hurt you, because you can't move from here. So what you want to do is get up on your toes and let footwork be the best means for defense. Now with the footwork, we're going to cover 4 basic things. Step and slide forward, step and slide backward, cover to the right, and cover to the left. So we're going to start off with our basic stance, feet about shoulder width. Put your hands straight up. Now just take a normal step forward. Hands are already up. You might want to drop your front hand a little bit. Your left hand is like you're talking on the telephone. Bend your knees and move around. Now everybody's stance is going to be a little bit different according to your own personal preference. This is all right. Some people like it out here a little bit more. Some people like to get in a little bit more. The main thing is that your hands are up, your feet are in close enough that you can move. Now the first thing we're going to do is a step and slide forward. So from this ready position, we push off the rear leg and go forward. Now we push off the front leg and go backward. So I'd like you to go a few times in the mirror, forward, backward. Step and slide forward, step and slide backward. Change your lead, move around a little bit, do the same thing. Now if you got this down, the next thing we have to learn is to go sideways. So we're going to go what we call cover to the right. You step off with your right foot first and you cover. Then you step with your left foot and you cover. So we have forward, backward, cover to the right, cover to the left. Now let's see this applied. Okay, Charlie? Okay, Charlie's going to jab. Notice if I'm in a low position here and he jabs, I can't get out of the way of the punch. Now if I come up on my toes a little bit, he jabs. This is my step and slide backward. Now if I shoot off this way, this is my cover to the right. If I go the other way, this is my cover to the left. After you've got your basic footwork, then we can put in the punches. Now let's try it one more time. Step and slide forward, backward, cover to the right, and cover to the left. All right, now we're going to build on that footwork. We're going to continue with our evading. I'm not showing you any pats or blocks yet. We're just going to stay with our footwork and our evading. We're going to start off with a slip. You have basically a slip, a bob, a weave, and a duck. Okay, so from your fighting position, you're moving around. Everything that we do comes from movement. You never want to do anything from a stance, because you're not going to be in this position in a fight. Guy's going to be hitting you and moving. You've got to move with him. All right, so from your fighting position, a little bit of moving here. We're going to start with a slip. We're going to go left and right. Just your head moves. Left and right. And you can slip backward. 3 directions. 1, 2, 3. The backward slip is not used as much, but once in a while you can use it. Okay, let's go again. Backward, left, and right. Continue moving. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I want you to work at a slip at least 5 minutes a day in the mirror, as with the rest of these. Now, let's take the slip and use it against an opponent. Okay, Charlie's going to jab. I'll start with a lateral slip. It's just the head getting out of the way. Now we're going to cover the bob. The slip went laterally. 1, 2, or backward. The bob is going to go forward. Your right shoulder will go down to your left knee, or your left shoulder to your right knee. A bob is not a duck, and you don't bend your head this way to where you're missing your opponent. You have to look up to see him. What you should do is you keep your eye on your opponent, bob down, and come up. This is a bob. Now, a slip, lateral, lateral, or backward, and then a bob. Now, all of these can be done responsively or arbitrarily. It's up to you. Responsively is if he punches, you slip out of the way. Arbitrarily is you're just moving to keep a moving target. So you want to mix these up. Okay, now let's try our bob. Charlie gets up with a jab. Notice I'm in the position very slow when I bob to counter. But I'm not showing any counters yet. We're not doing anything with the hands yet. Just showing you the defensive movements. Okay, one more time slow, Charlie. Jab. Okay, so what we're doing, laterally, right to the left, or left to the right. This is your bob. All right, let's work that. Next we have the weave. The weave is a bob, but you pull out the other way. So when you bob down to this position, you're going to pull back out. This is what we call a switch. So if you're inside of the opponent's arms and you want to be on the outside, you get back out, or vice versa. If you're on the outside, you come back in. So weave, you're continually looking right at the chest, but your head is weaving around. This is what makes the weave very effective, is continual movement. All of these without footwork are no good at all. If you're in a low stance trying to slip, bob, weave, or duck from here, it's ridiculous. It won't work. You have to be up on your toes. Think of yourself like a boxer. Think of yourself like a Muhammad Ali or Sugar Ray Leonard, always moving. All right, now let's try the weave. Charlie, you don't usually weave a jab, but we're going to do everything off the jab to keep the confusion level down. Okay, Charlie's going to jab. I weave around it. Now, when you train this, we can just put one arm out. It's a good way to train. Just rest the arm right on the shoulder, and you weave around it. You use this to weave. When you weave, if we had the punches, we'd be throwing the punches. We're not adding that in yet. But this is how you can train your weave. If you don't have someone to stick their arm out, tie a rope or a stick to the wall and just weave around that. All right, let's try that. Down, weave around, come back up. Down, weave around. Okay, you try it. All right, we have the slip, we have the bob, and we have the weave. Now we're going to cover the duck. The duck is just straight down. The head, the body, the upper torso stays the same. You just bend your knees. Whereas with the weave, you bend your knees and your waist at the same time. If you lock out your knees on a weave and your waist just bends, you're going to lose your vision. If you just bend your knees, you can end up ducking and just moving your head. That's not right either. You combine them all on the weave, whereas with the duck, nothing moves here, and it's just straight down. Okay, Charlie's going to jab. Boom. When I go down, that's when I can hit. It's a slip, slip, and a duck. Now, you're going to be wondering, when do I duck? When do I weave? Why should I weave instead of slip? How do I know when to bob? Should I weave then? Well, it's like any other sport. Okay, let's cover all four of these one more time. We have a slip and backward. We have a bob. Bobbing goes forward. We have a weave, and we have a duck. Now, I want you to practice these in the mirror by yourself. Picture someone coming at you and just blend them all together. Then we'll put in the punches. All right, you try it. All right, now we're going to work the upper body tools first. With the upper body tools, I'm going to start out with a jab. Now, on the jab, from this position, the jab shoots straight out and straight back. Now, you're going to find out there are 1,000 ways to jab. You could go to 15 boxing gyms, and you'll find 15 different ways to jab. Some people tell you you keep your body straight up and down, and you just jab with the hand. Other people say lean into the jab. Look at how Muhammad Ali did it. He leaned into the jab. Other people say shuffle into the jab. That's better. Some people say throw the hip in the jab. Other people say keep the hip here and just jab. Combine it with the shuffle. So you're going to find out there's a lot of ways to jab. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a base way. And from there, you experiment with your own body, whatever body type you have, and then you fit it according to your own self. These are the principles we abide by with JKD. Everybody does it the way their own body works. Now, let's start off with a basic foundation of a jab. We have our footwork, we have our stance. Use the step and slide forward that we taught you, and you combine that with the turning of the shoulder. As you turn your shoulder, you throw out the jab. This hand stays up. Very important point is when one punch goes out, the other hand protects wherever it happens to be. So if you want to protect your hip, put it on your hip. If you'd rather protect your face, put it up on your face. So we like to protect our face. So you keep this hand up like you're talking on the phone, boom, and you just jab straight out. So you move around a little bit, step forward, and jab. Okay, slowly. Out and back. From this position again, twist, punch, and come back. Now some people say, well, do you keep a vertical fist? You can do that. Once again, it's up to your own preference. The way I'm going to show you is a little bit of a twist. Tends to cut the skin when it hits a little bit better. So you step and slide forward, twist, and come back. Move around one more time. Out and back. Out and back. Okay, good. Now let's look at this from a side view. Notice I'm up on my toes. Look at the heel is not touching. I'm up on my toes. Step and slide forward. Very slow. Forward and back. Throw the hip into it. Twist the arm as you go out. All right, let's look at the application. Okay, Charlie's moving around. What I would do is I'm probing, boom, and this is when I come in and I jab. Now, the jab can be as an offensive arsenal to hit, or it can be as a stop hit. Now, as a stop hit, what I'm talking about is if Charlie were to throw another blow, I intercept that blow before it gets there. This is when you get into a higher level of tool. This is the actual meaning of JKD, the way of intercepting the hand and foot. So if Charlie is going to hit me with a swing, I'll use my jab to intercept the swing rather than wait, block, and then hit. Okay, so we're moving around. Charlie swings with his rear hand. Boom. This is my interception. So I'm keying in right now. When I see that shoulder rocking back, that's when I intercept it. So you can use the jab to intercept, or you can use it to hit, or you can use it to probe. You don't have to kill with every blow. You can probe with a few, boom, and then set up for the power shots later. Okay, let's try the jab in front of the mirror a few times. Remember the basic points. Twist, throw your hip into it, and step into it. Rear hand stays up. Okay, you try it. All right, we have the jab. I want to cover the basic points. We step and slide forward. We twist as we go in. We throw the hip in, and we keep the hand out. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to cover one more aspect of how to defend against this jab. We have your basic points of the head slipping and bobbing and weaving, but there's a time when your hands are closer to your face and you don't necessarily have to put them to this position to weave, but you just pat out of the way. You'll notice that any time we use our hands to block, it's a quick little pat. It's nothing large or demonstrative here, because anytime you're using your limbs to block with, you're not using them to hit with. And that's the bottom line. So your hands are up here, just a quick little pat. A lot of people say, well, you need power. What if he's a powerful puncher? You better have a powerful block. No, if you have footwork, you can just nullify the power with your footwork. You don't need a powerful block. You don't need to attack that fly with a sledgehammer. Just pat it. That's all you have to do. Okay, so Charlie's going to jab. All I'm doing is patting the jab. Okay, so he's going to jab slow. As soon as he does, bam, a pat. And again, boom, a pat. Now the pat can be straight or the pat can be sideways. Now when I pat, boom, I can come back with my jab. Or I can slip under and pat and jab. So this is the catch and this is the pat. One goes sideways and one goes straight. But notice I'm not leaving my center line. I'm just barely making a touch on that limb. It's a very important point. With that in mind, you then have your footwork to move with. Now let's try that in conjunction with your slips, your bob, and your weave. Catch and jab. All right, you try that. All right, the next punch we're going to cover is a jab off the rear hand, which we call the cross. We call it a cross because it crosses past the body, but it shoots the exact same angle as a jab, straight ahead. This is probably one of your most powerful blows. The reason it's so powerful is because all of your body weight comes into the punch. You're not leaving your legs behind and punching from here with all arm, but you're bringing your body with you. Just like if a shot putter were trying to shot put the ball as far as he could, he can't leave his knee behind. There's not going to be any power. So he brings it with him. Well, if you want the same kind of power, you bring your whole body with you. Now watch the small points. We step out on a 45 with the left foot if you're in the left lead. Hands are up. The cross starts from right here, shoots straight ahead, and the knee comes with you. Watch the whole right side of my body is thrown into the punch. A lot of people think you're going to get more power if you yell and scream. Well, first of all, if you ki-eye, well, you get your mouth open. I hope you don't get hit at that point. Think of a baseball player. If he's trying to hit the ball, you watch good baseball players. They stay here, they concentrate, boom, and they throw all their weight into the bat. But if they were going to do it like some people do it, what they would do is they would get into a stance and they would ki-eye so that ball would go further and it'd be yes, but the ball wouldn't go past the pitcher. So what do? They keep light and they hit the ball, just like a cross. Okay, let's watch this in application. Okay, Charlie. Now, the defense against a cross is what we call a shoulder roll. So when I punch Charlie, he's going to do a shoulder roll. So we're right here, and this is the cross. Watch my leg. Everything comes with me. Usually your cross follows the jab. You set him up with a probe with the jab, boom, and then you come in with your cross. All right, you try that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cover a different angle of attack. So the jab and the cross both attack the straight line, which is a straight line of attack. Could go high or could go low. Now we're going to attack the hook line. With the hook line, once again, the knee and the hip have to come into play. And once again, the rear hand is up. So from a fighting stance, I am going to rock my weight a little bit backwards, shifting from the front to the rear. Why the shifting of the weight? So I can hit with my whole body and not just my arm. So what I do is I rock backward and I hook. Watch my knee, watch my hip, watch the fact that my elbow and wrist are parallel to the ground. The more I get this way, the more I'm losing leverage, till eventually I have a ridge hand, which comes like this. To add power, what I do is I just bring the elbow up, and now it's like I'm hitting with the head of the hammer and not the side of the hammer. So you can hook this way, or you can hook this way. This way adds a little bit of power to what you're doing, because you're not reaching out. It's not just an arm strike to get power, but you're hooking. So watch my body, watch my shifting of my weight. This is a front hook. So if you notice, the hook and the cross are almost opposites. When you shoot a cross, your weight should be on your front. When you shoot a hook, it should rock back. So you're shifting your weight. What I'd like you to do now is get in front of the mirror and feel your weight shift from front to rear, even exaggerate it a little bit. Maybe in reality, boom, it's only that much. But for training, I really want you to lean and feel your weight shift. Your head begins your attack. Where your head goes, your weight goes. You can't leave your head here. So if you move your head back and forth, your weight will follow, I promise. Watch my knee. The knee, the hip, and the body. You think of punching with your whole body. Okay, let's illustrate this with Charlie. Right here, what I'm going to do is hit the shoulder. I just shot across. Now I'm rocking back. 1, 2, 1. Now watch my weight shift from the front to the rear. This is how you get power on a hook. Okay, watch it again from this angle. Cross, hook. Cross, hook. Okay, one more time. Concept being, we're straight ahead, the weight is forward. You feel the weight shift back. As you shift, you pull in at the last second. This is a hook. All right, you try it. All right, let's analyze what angles of attack we're learning. We have a straight, and we have a straight off the rear. Then we have a hook line. You have the same hook line off the rear. So now we have 2 more angles to cover. An uppercut line and coming down, which is the overhead line. These are the other 2 angles of attack. Now there's literally no difference between a hook and an uppercut as far as your body mechanics are concerned. The only difference is your elbow is horizontal to the ground or it's vertical to the ground. So when I have Charlie, I'm going to be hitting on the shoulder. When I hit with the hook line, he does a shoulder roll. This is a little torquing of the shoulder. This is my hook. Now if I cover the body line to hit the body, he'll just cover for that shot, elbows in. So this is my uppercut line. This is my hook. This is my uppercut. Anything you can do with the front, you can do with the rear. Uppercut with the rear or hook with the rear. Hook with the front, uppercut with the rear, hook with the rear. Okay, so you've got all your different combinations that you're using. Hook, hook, uppercut, uppercut, jab, cross. Now you're getting a combination of strikes. When you get that, we can start putting them together. Make a jab, come with a cross, come with a hook. Then blend it with the bob and weave, with the step and slide forward and backwards. We're blending it all together now. All right, let's practice these. The last punch that I want to cover, we've mentioned before, is the overhand. The overhand descends. It's a little bit more of a wide punch. You don't use this as much. If you check out any boxers, Ken Norton was very good with the overhand. But you'll find out that when he trained and when he boxed, he only shot it a few times. What he would do, he's going to left lead, is he'd shoot the cross to set it up. He would show the cross and he would shoulder roll on the cross. Okay, shoulder roll. And then he thought the cross was coming, boom, and the overhand would come in. This is when you're going to, I say you just illustrate it once in a while. You're moving around and you just shoot, 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 and then boom. Once in a blue moon, the overhead comes. You don't want to initiate the overhand in a fight. You don't want to shoot the overhand from, and you don't want to stay in front of the opponent when you shoot the overhand. You want to zone. So let's cover the basics. We're in a fighting position. We zone out on a 45. We bring this leg with us. Punch comes down. This guard is up. One more time. Down. So let's see what we have. We have a jab. We have a cross. We have a hook. We have the hook with the rear. We have an uppercut. We have an uppercut with the rear. Then we have an overhand. Now we've covered all the different angles of attack. You move around, you're feinting with the jab. Most things come out of the jab. Jab, cross, jab, hook, jab, rear hook, jab, uppercut, or jab, overhand. That's why the jab is so important. It sets everything else up. All right, when you practice in the mirror, I want you to always start with the jab and then follow up with one of your other punches. All right, let's try it. All right, now, two other upper body weapons that I'm going to be showing are the headbutt and the elbows. We're going to start with the elbows. If you think about your regular punches, you'll have good elbows. If you think about a hook, your elbow's already there. It's the same exact body mechanics. If you think about an uppercut, your elbow's already there. A lot of people develop their uppercut and their hook by doing the elbow. Other people develop their elbow by doing the uppercut. Regardless, the mechanics are the same. This way or this way. Your punches or your elbows. Ideally, they're going to be integrated. If you go a jab and a hook, and if he comes to bob and weave under the hook, boom, that's when the elbow comes in. For example, I go jab, he catches a jab. When I'm going to throw a hook, he's going to bob in to weave out of the hook. 1, 2. This is what most boxers will do. The minute that comes in, boom, we're right into this range. So your elbows can be shot at any angle that your punches can be shot at. Diagonal down, vertical up, vertical down, horizontal, diagonal, horizontal, vertical. You just blend them. And then you blend them with the punches. And then there's a rare occasion where your hands are tied up and you can't use your elbows. This is where your headbutt and your knees come into play. Now, if I am tied up into here, boom, this is where the headbutt comes in, because the hands are tied up. You have 3 main lines on your body. The high line is from the neck up, which is your headbutt. Your middle line constitutes your hands and your elbows. Then your low line, which are your feet and your knees. When one line is closed, the other lines are open. So when to shoot your headbutt is when the other lines are closed. You're punching in here, and these are closed. Boom, this is your headbutt. This is the time that the headbutt is thrown. It's a rarity, but when it is thrown, if it's thrown at the right time, it's a very deadly tool. All right, once again, let's play with the elbows. Hook, uppercut, diagonal down, rear, straight up, combined rear, hook, diagonal. Then we're going to blend them all together. Use your footwork, move around, probe with the jab, fire the cross, boom. This is where your elbows come in. Simulate the headbutt, the elbow, overhand. Just keep moving. Concept is everything is thrown from a moving position. You're always probing with the jab, and you have a good imagination. All right, let's get a mirror and you try it. Now that we've got our hands out of the way, we've got our jab and our cross, our hook, our uppercut, and our overhand, we're going to work the legs, the low line. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a few kicks from different arts. Little from Savat, little from Thai boxing, little from Pananjakman, which is the Filipino kicking art. Now remember, there's thousands of kicks. I'm going to show you a few kicks that I feel are pretty combative. We're going to start off with the front kick. This front kick we take from Thai boxing. Other arts have it similar to this. Okay, from a right lead, what I'm doing is I'm picking my knee up. This is a good thing, is to have this reflex that your knee is up all the time, continually moving like your head moves, because it's getting prepared to block this line. If he throws this attack, your knee is already there. When my knee is moving up, I just descend it down. It's just a probe. This can be from another kick, but we always start to probe here first. So when we're moving around, all I'm doing is just picking the knee up once in a while. When it's up, the kick descends. It's just a tap. This isn't a kick that I'm going to run in and go, well, did I beat him? It's a kick that is just a probe like a jab. The jab probes to get something else in. That's what this kick is doing. Continually harassing the low line. Okay, let's look at it from a frontal view. From the fighting stance, we pick up the knee. When the knee is up in the air, the kick is actually descending on the thigh with the ball of the foot hitting. It's not a pretty kick, but it's effective. Okay, let's try it a couple times. All right, you try that in the mirror. Now we're going to shoot the same angle of attack, which is a straight kick, only we're going to come off the rear leg. We call this an oblique kick. This is in the art of Pananjakman. We're staying along the same mentality as not destroying, not coming in with power, but just probing. This is one of those kicks where you're probing, just like the front kick I just showed you. Okay, so from a fighting stance, this kick is just probing out. I'm just snapping it out. What I'm doing is snapping the knee. I bring it up to here, and as soon as I get to this position, we can aim for the knee or aim for the shin. So slow. This is the oblique kick. This kick is real good as a probe. A lot of boxers, when they jab, they expect the jab to come back. As soon as he jabs, 1, 2. But a lot of times you jab, boom, boom, this comes back. As soon as he jabs it, this is the kick that comes back. This is a line they're not familiar with. So we use this as a probe. Okay, let's look at this shot from the side. Coming in, knees up, and it turns at the last second. Notice that my hands don't move. I never drop my hand down when I kick. I keep the hands up all the time. I don't affect the upper line at all when I'm kicking with the low line. Okay, let's look at it from the front. Oblique kick. And this view. Now, the final kick I'm going to show you as a probe, before we get into any what I call power kicks, is going to be the front roundhouse kick. We're going to implement it with the shuffle. You might hear me call this the hook kick. We call it a hook kick because it comes at the same angle as a hook. A lot of people call it a roundhouse kick. We'll use that terminology. Okay, from a fighting stance, we're moving around a little bit. I'm out in this range. I have to close the gap. This is my probe. So I close the gap and I kick. So what I'm doing from a moving position is moving around, close the gap to here, and kick. If you notice from my fighting stance, I bring my rear leg to my front. The minute this comes in, it's what we call a pendulum footwork before I come down. Your targets can be the inner thigh, the groin, the knee, or the shin. For training, I recommend you take the inner thigh. It's one of your better targets. Okay, so we move around a little bit, shuffle in, and kick. That's all I want you to do. Let's look at that front. From this position, bring the rear leg up. Notice where my hands are. Rear leg comes up, knee, hook kick, and back. We're attacking with the instep of the foot. The instep is hitting the shin. Okay, so from a position, boom. Okay, let's look at it from the side. Move around, remember, hands up, continually moving, on your toes, shuffle, and kick. One more time, shuffle, and kick. Okay, you try that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cover the first kick that I call a power kick. It's not a probe. It's not a kick to just get his attention. This kick has power. The first prior 3 kicks I was showing you were sort of like the jab. Probe, probe. Okay, the front kick was a probe, the oblique kick was a probe, and the quick hook kick low was a probe. Now this is going to be a power kick. We're going to go off the rear leg and we're going to attack the thigh. A lot of arts attack this particular weapon. Savate attacks it, Thai boxing attacks it, Pananjakman attack it. They attack it in different ways. I'm going to show you a few ways. One of them is with your instep hitting his thigh. When your instep hits his thigh, you're in a particular range for that particular weapon. He's in a left lead, he comes up to me. From this position, my instep is hitting the thigh. Now, if I were a little bit closer, Thai boxing would come into play, and I would take it with the whole shin. Notice the whole shin attacking the thigh. Just chop him down with that shot. A lot of people like to approach you with this target, thinking that these are the only targets that they have on their body, and they don't acknowledge this as a viable target, so they just give you that, like this sort of stance. The fight's already won. It would be like a boxer approaching another boxer like this. So what we're going to do is, from a fighting stance, the hands are up, is shoot the shot out. Watch what I'm doing with my front leg. I angle a little bit. As I zone, this is my shot. This particular method, the way I'm coming down and retracting it quickly, is from Savate. Why do they pull it up like that? Because they do combinations. They like to go 1, 2 and hit the kidney with the toe. So what we're going to do is we pick the knee up. As the knee comes up, it descends down on the target. From this position, I come back to a fighting stance. Okay, let's look at that from a frontal view. Step out on a 45, pick up the knee, kick, back, and down. Okay, from the side. Moving around a little bit, you're up on your toes, and down. We're going to keep everything about waist level or lower. I'm keeping everything very functional. A saying Bruce Lee would have is, I wouldn't kick you in the face in a fight any more than I would punch you in the toe. But for training, for aerobics, we like to kick high. But for reality, we like to keep everything below the waist. All right, let's try that kick now. Now I'm going to take that same roundhouse kick that we showed on the thigh, and I'm going to move it up 1 notch to the solar plexus. The way we're going to do this kick, it's going to look from the bird's eye view like a heel hook. For example, when you see this, it looks like I'm hitting with my heel. But in actuality, the trajectory of the kick is that it comes straight up, just barely hits, and pulls out. A lot of people think that Savate does not have the power because of the way they kick. And if you see a Savate man hitting the heavy bag, it won't sound very powerful. It'll be more of a flick, almost like saying, oh, that eye jab doesn't have enough power. But when you do land a Savate kick to the organs, which is where they aim, the solar plexus, the groin, the throat, the kidney, the way the kick is dispersed, the energy, it's in and out quickly. They pinpoint the energy. And this is when you get a Savate shot, you get nauseated and you just don't feel like fighting anymore. It's not the same kind of power as a powerful Thai shot that's going to hit on the leg and affect the man immediately. But it is an important type of power to have in your arsenal. Okay, let's look at this kick now. He's in a right lead. He's in a fighting stance. What I'm going to do is I pick up the leg and I shoot it in. Now, a lot of people, they couldn't get this shot in because of the elbows here. But if you notice, we kick with the toe, aiming just for the solar plexus. If he blocks with his elbow, when my kick comes up, then I just move it to the throat, which is our next target. So this shot here, once again, the throat wouldn't be in the street. It would be more in a good sparring match. We like to keep it low in the street. So as we're moving around here, this is the shot. It just flicks in. The more his elbows are in tight, the more I just go right in between them. So when my front leg comes up, he doesn't really know if it's going to go here, if it's going to go here, if it's going to go here, in between, or if I'm going to go low to high. This is the combinations that we can do, all with the front leg. Looking at it from a side view, it's going to look like a heel hook to you. The toe comes up and out. Once again. But if you look at it on a person, I'm coming straight up with my kick and pulling it out. That way you're armed for the next kick. The minute they kick this, boom, they can come in again Most important part of this kick, your hip faces the opponent. You don't do the kick coming in, but you turn first. Up and out. Okay, you try that. Now we're going to cover the side kick. I'm going to give it to you in two methods. More of an offensive shot, and then one is more of a defensive shot. Stop hitting the opponent. As an offensive shot, we're going to show it to the thigh. Could go to the knee, could go to the hip, could go higher if you are just playing around. Okay, from a fighting stance, what I'm doing, I'm moving around. If my right foot is a little bit more this way, this is going to dictate that I'm going to come in with a side kick. Whereas if my right foot is a little bit more this way, chances are I'm going to come with a hook kick. This is why we do which kick. So from a fighting stance, we're going to assume you're a little bit more sideways to the opponent. You pick up the knee. Now from the knee picking up, boom, just come straight down and back. That's all I want you to do. Just go straight down and back with that. From this position, when you go down, the foot can come back up and hit the face. This is a feint. This kick is a lot like the front kick we showed you. It just paws down. So looking at it straight ahead, pick up the knee. When the knee is up, you drive it down. One of the things we do different is we kick with the whole bottom of the foot. We don't have a blade. We just kick with the bottom of the foot. Looking at it from the side, moving around, out and back. We don't feel that the blade is necessary to kick. Many years ago, they would put hemp rope and seashells on the shoe and tie it on. And when they kick, it was literally the blade of the foot. Well, Nikes don't have shoes like that. We don't need to do that. We have the bottom of our foot. It's a more solid kick. Boom, out and back. Okay, let's practice that in the mirror. Now we're going to cover the knees. So we have a basic foundation of feet, hands. We covered some elbow. We covered some headbutt. Now we're going to cover the knee. The point I want to bring up concerning the headbutt, the elbow, and the knee is that when you train, you have to know how to train these tools. You have to put them on, but put them on to the proper targets. For example, if I'm training with Charlie and I throw a few jabs out and he thinks the cross is coming, he's going to shoulder roll. If I see him shoulder roll at this point, I can train the elbow right on the shoulder instead of on the head. From this position, this is the best spot to knee. But for training, what I'll do is I'll maybe knee into his glove. Or I'll knee this way with my thigh hitting instead of the tip of my knee. So you can train the elbows with pretty much veracity here and don't have to hurt him. Same thing with headbutt. You simulate the headbutt. So the headbutt obviously is simulated. This you can be training and this you can train with. So you want to know how to train. It's very important. Because you want to make contact when you train. You don't want to pull your punch. The most important thing a boxer has over other styles of martial arts is that he is making full contact all the time. The criteria is that he knocks the guy out. He inflicts pain and damage to the other person. Not that he tags, makes the point, and had he have gone with full power, he would have hurt him. This isn't the mentality. This is why most ring sports where they're actually trying to do damage to the opponent have an edge over most sports that are just tournament-oriented. Okay, now let's look at the knee. I'm going to tie up in Thai boxing position and show you how to train it. The first thing is the Thai boxing position. Charlie's going to put two hands here, and I'm going to put two hands here. This is a lock-up position. You'll find yourself in this position a lot if you're fighting full contact. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come with the knee. He'll drop his elbow down, and this is what I'm training it. Same shot again. Now I'll shift over to this knee. Every time I train, I pull the head a little this way as a deceptive maneuver. Then the knee comes up. Okay, let's work it again. Then after I go knee, go elbow, elbow. Notice I'm simulating the elbow, hitting with my forearm instead of the tip of the elbow. So I go 1, 2. Okay, let's look at this in the air. From this position, I hook up on the neck, come in with the knee. This is the way you train. From this position, you're looking in the mirror, you're moving around, knee, knee. The knee comes up on a diagonal and back down. Okay, you try that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to elaborate on how to get out of the way of kicks. Notice I didn't say block, and the reason I didn't say that is because we don't block kicks. The first thing we'll do is we'll work footwork. Mark's going to give me a shuffle roundhouse kick to the low shin, and I want you to watch my footwork when I get out of the way of this kick. Okay, good. Now, there are two more ways. These are both superior to getting out of the way because we're going to hit on the first motion. One comes from the Filipino martial arts, and its stem is from the stick or the knife. Whereas if you defang the snake is harmless. If you smack the hand on the first beat, you get rid of the stick immediately. Concept is you're destroying on the first motion. So, to get out of the way of the kick, we also destroy on the first motion. This is what we call a destruction, the knee going up. The second way comes from Jeet Kune Do, meaning way of intercepting the hand and foot. So what we do is we intercept the kick with a stop hit. First, I'm going to show you the Filipino way. Mark comes with a kick here. This is the shot right on the knee. He comes again slow and low. This is the shot. This destroys the leg immediately. If he comes to the front, I do the same destruction. Right on the knee. Comes again, and this is the destruction. When you get your shin hit, going full contact on the tip of the knee, you might feel a little bruise on your knee the day after, but the pain that he's going to be receiving on the spot will put him out of commission. Now, the second is the stop hit. This is the most important. This is the Jeet Kune Do concept. Mark's going to come in with a fast side kick. I get out of the way. Now, if I can't get out of the way when that comes in, that's my stop hit. I stop hit the kick initially by using the attributes of awareness and timing. When you blend the two together, the Jeet Kune Do concepts and the Filipino martial arts with the destructions, you have a totally different animal. All right, let's take our basic tools and put them all together now. We start with a jab. We got the cross. We have the hook, uppercut, overhand. We have our front kick. We have our oblique kick. We have our rear leg hook kick. We have our savate kick that goes up. And then using the other tools, the close quarter tools, we have the headbutt, we have the elbow, and we have the knee. Now obviously when you're training and talking about a headbutt, an elbow, or a knee, these are weapons that are going to do more damage than a kick or a punch. These are tools that are guaranteed going to generate the damage on the opponent. You have to watch it when you're training. When you're training with a partner, you have to be careful with your elbows. These are tools that are going to come into play in a street only if you have to use it. Now that we have our basic punches, we have our jab, our cross, our hook, our uppercut, and our overhand, and our basic kicks. We have the Thai front kick, we have the rear leg hook kick, we have the front shuffle hook kick from savate, and we have the oblique kick. Putting these kicks together with the punches in the air gives you form, gives you speed. But there comes a point where you're going to want to work power. You're going to want to work wind and endurance. This is what the heavy bag is. As a special note to heavy bag training, I'd recommend that you use hand wraps. Now, when you wrap your hand, the main reason you're wrapping is to give your wrist support and to prevent any abrasion on your knuckles. When you hit, a lot of times you rip your knuckles, particularly if you don't hit solid. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the hand wrap. There's a million ways to wrap your hands. I'm going to give you a basic way. We take the hand wrap and we let it drop straight down. You want to keep it so it doesn't get knotted up here. Now, what you're going to do is you wrap it around your wrist, pulling it as tight as you can on a slight diagonal. Do this about 4 times. When you get to your knuckles, you keep your fingers spread. That way you're not smashing the tendons together. So as you have your fingers spread, you then go up to the fingers. We're going to wrap it around the knuckles a couple times to give the knuckles support. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to crisscross around the thumb 1 time, and I'm going to cut back to the wrist again. If you notice how I did this. And then I go back to the wrist again, and we're going to end up at the wrist. Now, if you have particular problems with the wrist, you might want to wrap it there more. If you have particular problems here, you might want to wrap it here more. And then from there, you just tie it up to here, and you've got a nice tight wrap, and this goes inside your glove. Then you have a harder, tighter hand, and it'll prevent any kind of injury. Okay, Gary, come on up. We're going to start off with a jab. When you are the trainer holding the bag, you want to keep your partner in front moving well. You want to remind him that if his hand drops, you want to reach over and touch him if the hand is dropped. This is your job as the bag holder. Okay, let's start off with the front jab. Ready? That's it. Move around. Stick and move. That's it. Hand up. Move. That's it. Ready? Double it up. Good. Now, real slow, real slow. Jab and twist, jab and twist. Okay, again. Good. Now, penetrate, power. Again. Now, notice how he's moving, continually moving. This is the most important thing when he's hitting the bag, is constant movement. Okay, good. Start with the left leg, Gary. Now, give me the right jab, cross, right cross now. That's it. Step out again. Look where the left hand is when he crosses. It's up. Okay, put the hand on the hip. Okay. This is where you're wide open if you're boxing. Okay, hands up. Move around. Nail it. That's it. Again. Watch the rear knee. The rear knee comes with the punch. Okay, combination jab cross. Move around. That's it. Stick and move. Stick and move. Stick and move. That's it. Stick and move. And good. Cut. Okay, now, what we're going to do is we're going to implement the hook. When he hooks, I want you to look at the knee. Watch the power. Watch where he's generating power from. Notice when he punches, it's he's exhaling, the mouth is shut. This way, if you don't get your jaw broken, if your mouth is open. Notice Muhammad Ali broke his jaw against Ken Norton. This is because he was talking. While he's punching and boxing, he was talking. When his mouth was open, he got clipped. Light shot broke his jaw. You want to keep your mouth shut. Okay, let's put in the right hook, right lead. Ready? Hook. Good. Again, hook. Good. Okay, jab, cross, and hook. Combination. Move around. Okay, stick and move. Stick and move again. Jab, jab. Jab. Good. Okay, double up the jab, cross, and hook. Again, double up the jab. Good. Come up to here. Left lead. Jab, jab. Double up the jab. Good. Double up the jab again. Good. Break. All right. Now we're going to put in the uppercuts. Uppercut is a close quarter tool. As we get in closer, you're going to notice he's going to always have the hand up, knowing that he is close enough to get hit. The closer you get to that bag, the more evident it becomes to get your hands up. The further away, you can rest a little bit. But as you get up, you've got to get the hands up. Okay, let's take it off the jab. Okay, jab. Good. Jab, come back with an uppercut. Good. Again, move it up. Good. Double up the uppercut now. Jab, double uppercut. Good. Now cross it over. Right, left. Jab, right, left, uppercut. Good. Same combination again. Go. Good. Okay. Jab and an overhand. Step out on the 45. Good. Again. Move around. Good. Notice the arc of the shoulder and the elbow. He's coming down on a diagonal. Jab. Good. Come back with an uppercut. Again. Same combination. Good. And break. Good. Now, notice everything he's doing, he's moving around. He's alive. He's looking at that heavy bag like it's an opponent, not like it's a Makawara pad and you get up to it and you're hitting, because that's not going to do you any good. Every time he gets in close, the hands are up. We're not ever in this position because this is an opponent, and you always treat the heavy bag like it is an opponent, particularly with the kicks, and this is what we're going to do now. Okay, Gary, move around. Let's start with a front kick, pawing down the Thai boxing kick. Okay, go. Good. Hands up and moving around. Good. Give me two more. Good. Give me one slow. One slow. The kick actually descends. The kick is actually descending. It's a push combination, push probe. Okay, normal speed. Good. Left lead with the kick. Okay. Good. Now, I want a front kick. I want you to step out, and I want you to come with a rear leg hook kick to the thigh. Good. Again. And one more time. Good. Notice the hands up when he kicks. Continual movement. One more time. Good. Take a break. When you're kicking the heavy bag, your hands have to be up just like you were kicking the opponent. All of our kicking and boxing arts are not to beat the opponent in that range. They're all geared to get us into trapping range. So therefore, you might get a little more power if you would drop that hand, but you couldn't get yourself into trapping range with economy of motion because you would have to come from here to trap. So what you're losing maybe 5 or 10% power, you're gaining in 100% in terms of economy of motion. So your hands are up, boom, you're kicked, you can go right into your trap. We keep this in mind when we're training. Our kicking and our boxing is to get us into trapping. Because remember, the fight hasn't even begun yet until you get into trapping range. Okay, now, Gary, all I want you to do is put all these tools together, play around a little bit. I'm not going to say a word. Jab, cross, mix it up, little high hook kick, savate, whatever you want. I'll just hold the bag. Okay, give me about a 15-second blast. Okay, go. Good. Break. Good. All right. That would be equivalent to maybe a half a round. That was about a 15-second, 20-second blast. We go minute, 2-minute, 3-minute rounds. Okay? Average, we'll say a 2-minute round. I'd like you to go at least, work your way up to 5 2-minute rounds a day on the bag. You can get a little egg timer. Here's your wristwatch. We have professional timers you can get also. When you're going rounds, this gets you a chance to rest, then you get back up fresh again. Okay? So I want you to keep in mind the basic foundation. Look at this over and over again. Watch his movement. Watch the aliveness and what he does. And that's how I want you to do it. All right, now that I've given you the basic foundation of Junfan kickboxing, which includes the footwork, includes the punches, the kicks, the destructions, and the stop hits, what we're going to do is we're going to cover drilling and sparring in tape 2. Now, you can't begin tape 2 until you've covered tape 1 and you've done it thoroughly. I want you to practice at least 2 hours a week if you can get it in. 15, 20 minutes a day. Work on all your basic foundation. It's like we're building a house, and if the foundation is weak, you can put all the other trim on it, but eventually it's going to be a weak house. We want to get you a strong foundation, a lot of practice, a lot of training, a lot of imagination when you train. Train with intensity. And then tape 2 is going to pick up where we left off with the brunt of our training. All right, thank you very much, and we'll see you in tape 2.